What's up YouTube land, Ziino Gaming here, and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team episode number 30, and here today we are at the Baku City Street Circuit for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And leading into this race, we come off last race result at Monaco with a 4th place finish, which was our best result of the season so far. Actually, no, sorry, it wasn't our best result, it was our second best result. Already forgetting our win in Spain. To start the episode here, upgrading this facility to the durability for more resource points, which is always nice. We're now going to jump into practice here, which is and I normally don't show stuff from practice, but this I had to show. This was just something different from the AI, and that I noticed. Not the AOA in general, just something that happened. So here we have Pierre Gasly retiring from the session, and that's important just to note that it's odd to see the AOA just retire from a practice session. I've never really seen it happen in this year's game, but it happened for that particular moment for whatever reason. So anyway, we're now going to head here into qualifying as per usual, and one thing to note about the current car for this weekend, this is the 8th race, and so this is the 8th race the power unit's going to be doing, and I opted to, not put a fresh one in for Baku, although that probably would have been wise. There's 22 races, and I want to go the 8-7-7 kind of thing, so that's why I opted not to change the power unit. I'm just going to, take the performance deficit for this weekend, and we'll just see how it goes. And you can see there's our first qualifying lap. Not very good, not much on the pace. And I normally struggle with pace at Baku in general, and I'm also a little bit down on power on the straights. And you can see here as we come across the line, we improve the time, but not by a lot. Anyway, now coming into our end of Q1, we're going to show the lap here, and coming now into turn 2, and we've got quite a bit of time to find about 0.8 of a second. It's probably more by the time everyone else improves, probably a second worth of time to improve to be able to advance through to Q2. Now coming into turn 3, braking at the 100-meter board, 3rd gear, using all the room on the exit of the corner, and back down to 3rd gear. Here, lock up on the front right tyre, and now coming here into turn 4 and 5, looking just in between the 150-meter board, 3rd and gear, and now on the run here to turn 8, I believe, and into the castle section here, as this is the tightest corner on the track. As we come here and we hit the barrier.
I am stupid. I switch off everything.
I am indeed stupid, and what really frustrates me about that, if you go and look at the delta time, we're 8 up already at that point in the lap. We're putting in a pretty good lap there, so we've put it in the barrier, unfortunately, and that means we're out in Q1. I think I would have been able to get through to Q2 with the way that lap was progressing, because there was definitely time to find, and it's really unfortunate. Fortunately, Hubert is able to just squeeze through to Q2 here in 16th place, and being knocked out, you got Russell, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, De Vries, and Latifi. So let's get into the race.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku, and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners, and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience, and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Perez, Max Verstappen and Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Hubert and Charles Leclerc, Kvyat, Stroll, Sebastian Vettel and Norris, Sainz, Magnussen, George Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, De Vries, the captain and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So welcome here today to the Baku Grand Prix, Azerbaijan Grand Prix I should say, at the Baku City Street Circuit, and it's a one-stop strategy here. And this, I'm just going to show you this from, I was trying to start in the hard tyre and it just would, the game wouldn't let me. Yeah, I'm moving my controller, trying to start in the hard tyre, it just won't let me switch, which is really frustrating. So now I've got to start on the soft tyre, as I thought might as well use the soft tyre and then get an earlier undercut onto the hard tyre. Just something that I don't understand why I can't start on the hard tyre. A little bit frustrating. I mean, I've qualified 22nd or 20th, wherever I qualified. I think it's 20th. And yeah, a bit frustrating, but that's the game for you. I mean, other AI cars were able to start in the hard tyre. I just wasn't able to. They should, you know, really fix the strategy menu and let it be free to how I want it, or how anybody wants to use their, how anyone wants to use their strategy, and let them make the mistakes if they want to go on an alternate or different or out there strategy. Don't let the game decide for you. Anyway, little rant. We're going to get into the start of this Grand Prix here from 21st on the grid actually, and here we go, 5 red lights. And let's go here in Baku, and we get a really, really good launch off the line. We're straight away past the Williams and the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen. We go into turn 1. I get caught out there by how slow the arrow going there into turn 1. Have to take a voiding action to the outside to go around the outside of, I think it was Russell. And now we've got Magnussen caught out again there, up the inside of 2 cars here. That's Magnussen, that's Norris now and outside. The yellow flag's flying, so there must have been an incident behind. And now we jump in the slipstream of Norris, and you can see he's pulling away here. And we've got Magnussen behind, and we're going to be in 16th place here, so it's a really good opening to the lap here. I mean, could have had a couple of accidents there, but we managed to keep our front wing clean. And now can we find a way past Norris here on this opening lap? Not into this corner, we're not going to be close enough. Maybe can we set something up into turn 7 here? And Norris actually goes a little bit defensive out of the corner, and maybe is he looking to move ahead, possibly. He falls back in line there, so no way through, and this is all one line through here, and yeah, it's going to be a tough race. You know, we can't do the same mistake we'd made in qualifying, put it in the wall at that castle section. We've got to be patient, but also we've got to use the most of these soft tyres. You can see Norris and Vettel, they're on the hard compound tyre, so we've got the 2 Haas cars behind on the medium tyre. We need to use the most of this soft tyre, so we can't be too patient. Yeah, the thing is, we're very down on power. You'll see now here, we've got Stroll holding up, looks like Vettel and Norris, as now we're not really using much ERS here, but we obviously haven't got a lot as well with that, as much to play with as we would normally because of the deficit I'm facing here, just with the decision I made. And you can see looks like Stroll's actually broken up the front wing, he's into the pit lane, so Lance Stroll pits, and now Norris has got a fantastic double slipstream there, and then on Vettel, and he goes around the outside, but Vettel defends well into turn 1, and he's going to defend again into turn 2. Can Norris find a way through? And I go really deep into turn 2 there, which, you know, I could have had a chance maybe if I got a better run out of turn 2 to get past Sebastian. Norris gets the job done. Can we have a look into turn 3 on Vettel? He goes to the inside, and he's going to lunge up the inside of Norris for a second. I thought he was very late in the brakes from the 4-time world champion. Can we go up the inside here? And you know, once again, he's laid on the brakes, and we can't find a way through. As we now skip ahead to the end of lap 2, and we've got Magnussen getting a fantastic run on us here down the straight, and Magnussen was on the outside, switches to the inside, and he's got the position and the line here. We're going to leave him space, and we're able to just manage to keep ahead here. Now, moving to lap 6, you can see we've gapped the 2 Haas's behind, and actually Russell has gotten ahead of Magnussen. But Vettel is behind Norris, and Norris has caught up to his teammate, and I don't know if that's an Alpha or if that's Leclerc. I'm going to say that's Leclerc ahead, but because I believe we're ahead of the other 2 Alphas. So I'm coming into the pits this lap just trying to get an undercut on everyone ahead. I wasn't really making the impact. I wasn't able to get through on the guys ahead, and you can see that there's Ricardo, no, that's Ocon in the pit lane as well for a stop. So yeah, just trying to get an undercut here, 1 lap earlier than projected, and we'll run to the end of the race on the hard tyre, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, just trying to get ahead of that pack. You can see it's quite a busy pack, and you know, with Norris and Vettel on hard tyres, they're kind of who we were racing today, and we're going to have a massive undercut up compared to them. They're not going to be coming in for another 5-6 laps at least. Here we on our out lap, just getting up the speed on the tyre, trying to get into the rhythm of the hard tyre, and you can see Stroll coming at us here. He's on the medium tyre. He's been on them since the opening lap now, and he's been driving in clean air, and he's able to get past us here, and we almost throw it down the barrier out of turn 1. That was a very, very scary moment for a second, and we managed to hold on there. But Leclerc, you can see, came out just ahead of us, and we got Latifi in the way here on lap 11. He's yet to stop, and we're just closing in on him. But we had Leclerc come out ahead, but we haven't really been able to make any inroads. We're now stuck behind Latifi, and we're looking to get the move done here. He's not going to be pitting this time around. We open the DRS, we're a little bit far back, but you can see the slipstream and the DRS effect, how much overspeed we get going into turn 1, go around the outside, and that is a simple move. We take pretty much the apex of the turn 1 and get the job done. So moving now to lap 15, not much is happening, not really making an impact on the cars ahead. Hopefully just still getting that undercut on the other drivers, but Pierre Gasly is out of the Grand Prix, so it's a terminal issue for Pierre Gasly, so whatever issues he had in practice have carried over into the race. So that's a shame for the AlphaTauri driver. He was looking on for a good result today, as now we're going to enter into the pits here. We're in 16th place, so I took this opportunity actually to switch out my hard tyres for a new set of medium tyres to run to the end of the race, just to be on a stronger tyre for the end of the race, so the field's bunching up anyway. And I don't feel like I was giving up too much track position anyway. I'm pretty far back in the pack anyway. I reckon maybe I cost myself three places here by pitting and versus not pitting, because the guys ahead now were just going to come back out ahead with a quick pit stop. But anyway, with 9 laps to go here, we're racing again here in Baku, and I'm going to come across the line here, and we're going to look into turn 1. We go down the inside of the Williams off the Freeze. We're also down the inside of Kimi Räikkönen, and he gives us the room, and we are immediately into 16th position here. And then we're going to look down the inside of Stroll here, maybe not quite. And that was a very aggressive into turn 1, but you got to be on these opening laps. It's a chance to make up a lot of ground and positions when the field is closely bunched. And here now, lap 19, and Stroll looking to make a move, and he has made a move on George Russell, and now we're going to look to see if we can take advantage of the Haas driver, who is on the hard tyre, so we've got the tyre advantage here, and we're getting a decent run out of turn 2, no DRS though. Can we have a look down the inside? We're probably just not close enough into turn 3 to outbrake George there, and we are not, so you can see it's a massive group ahead, a massive pack, and we're just going to have to pick our way through wherever we can and look for any way past here. Can we maybe make a move here, trying to open up the angle here, get a good run into turn 7. Yeah, but George defending the inside actually quite aggressively there, so there's no way through. And here for a second I was thinking about trying to drive around the outside, but I don't quite make the run, and I don't want to stick my nose up. I want to be fully alongside if I am going to make a move into the castle section. I wasn't going to do that time around. It's just too risky. But you can see we've dropped a little bit back here. Just Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane there, and that was quite odd, you know, to see him in the pit lane with 6 laps to go, chuck himself so far down the order. But later in the lap, as you can see now, coming through this little chicane, pretty close to behind George Russell, but you got yellow flags on the mini-map. I don't know if you noticed or not. And you can see here we get the Lewis Hamilton is out, so clearly he was in the pit lane because there is some sort of issue with that car. They sent him back out, but he's retired. So that's a third DNF for Lewis Hamilton this season. His poor luck just continues this season in terms of retirements. When he finishes, he does finish on the podium. He's finished every race on the podium. It's just You know, he's her third race already this year where he has retired. But you can see we're getting a fantastic run here, and we're using all of our ERS here. Now, going to turn it off as soon as we get the DRS. We're going to alternate here. Let's turn off the ERS, turn on the DRS. We're getting a fantastic slipstream now. We've got a lot of speed here on George. We're pretty far back. We're going to go to the inside. We're a little bit far back. We're going to have to be late on the brakes. We're very late on the brakes. Lock up the front left tyre, but we make the corner and we make it stick. That's a nice move, a really nice move late in the brakes on George Russell there to move us up the order. We're now chasing Lance Stroll once again, and you can see, look at this pack of cars up here. You've got a few cars going which way anyway. Obviously, there was a move being taken place there in the turn 3. I almost ran into the back of Stroll there, take avoiding action, and almost turn that into an overtake. Stroll gets a much better exit out of turn 4. Now, can we do anything through 5 or 6? Doesn't look like we're going to be able to. And coming into 7, we're not quite close enough, unfortunately, to the back of Stroll here. And you can see there's Ocon ahead. We've got our teammate who's just ahead of this little pack as well on the in-map, and he's actually in the points, so that's what we're aiming for, to get into the points if we can, to have a double. The team has not scored a double points finish. The second car hasn't scored a point yet in this career mode. Could today be the day with Hubert running in the points with not long to go now? You can see we had a poor run out of the chicane, and now we've had a poor run in the third sector as well, and we've dropped out of the DRS zone for this lap, and now we're under attack from George Russell here. Russell coming back at us with the DRS. He looks to the inside, and we're going to take the apex of the corner. He's up the inside. He almost makes contact with us. He pulls out of it and runs a little bit wide, but we're now catching back up. You can see we put our best first sector of the race in so far, and we're catching back up to the pack ahead, pushing hard with not long to go now, and we come into the castle section and we clip the barrier there. We break the front wing, and that's going to put a big dent into any chance of scoring points today. And now we're just going to bring the car home. We've got 1 lap to go here pretty much, and I've done well here to hold on to position. Leclerc been overtaken by Stroll, but I've done well to hold on to position up until now, and Russell finally gets past here, and that drops us to 15th place. So we've got 1 lap to go, and we'll see if we can maybe attack Russell into turn 3. If we can get a really good run. We locked the front brake, missed the apex of turn 2, and that's all she wrote. And now the job is, we haven't got much fuel left either. The job is to just hold off Giovinazzi if we can, as now we'll not be able to get past Russell in the turn 3. So it looks like 15th is the best we can do. You can see how much Russell pulls away in the middle sector. Coming to the last sector now, Bottas wins the race, sets the fastest lap. How do you like that? He says. And drag race to the line here between me and Giovinazzi. I'm using all the ERS I can. He's got DRS now. As soon as he opens the DRS, look at the speed he gets, and we're going to drop that down to 16th position. Not the way I wanted this race to go, unfortunately. So your driver of the day is Daniel Kvyat after a fantastic performance by himself. We'll go to Crofty now.
And so ends another Azerbaijan Grand Prix, a fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
The Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Interesting choice today, I think. There's a few to pick from, but I think I have to give it to Danny Kvyat. He put in a rock-solid performance today, one that he can be proud of.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, so what a race that was. Bottas wins the race, closes the gap. He overtakes Hamilton for second in the championship, closes the gap to Verstappen. Danny Kvyat finishes on the podium in second place. Unbelievable result by him, with Perez in third. Great points for the AlphaTauri crew. And yeah, we don't pick up points today, but our teammate Hubert finishes in 9th, so first points for a driver not named Jag Ziino for Ziino Racing. The second driver has finally scored points, and it is Antoine Hubert. May his legacy live on to score the first points for Ziino Racing, not scored by myself. So we're going to renew the sponsorship here, and we've got a short turnaround for the Canadian Grand Prix. So during the Baku weekend I didn't show it, but I did make some durability upgrades just to be a little bit nicer on the car, because obviously it struggled a little bit in that 8th race. But now with 7 races for each on the last 2 cycles of the power unit, so that should be all fine. Won't have that struggle. Hopefully we don't have that happen next year. Hopefully I can develop certain areas in durability just to ease it a little bit. And you can see here I'm going to make another upgrade just to make sure, and a bit of precaution as well. But anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Please leave a like, comment your feedback down in the comment section below, your thoughts as well. Subscribe to the channel for more F1 2020 content, and I will see you for the next video at the Canadian Grand Prix. Until then, goodbye.